Tonight, we journey back in time, far beyond the noise of the modern world, far beyond glowing screens, crowded roads, and the endless rush of daily life. We travel thousands of years into the past, to a civilization that stood beside the waters of the Nile and asked one of the deepest questions humanity has ever known. What happens after we die? As you settle comfortably into the darkness tonight, allow your mind to drift toward a world where death was not feared in quite the same way it is today. A world where people spent entire lifetimes preparing for a journey they believed would begin only after their final breath. A world where kings built monuments that still rise above the desert after thousands of years, all in the hope of securing a place in eternity. Stay with me until the very end of tonight's journey, because waiting for you is one of the most fascinating discoveries hidden within ancient Egyptian beliefs. A remarkable insight about the afterlife that many people have never heard before, and one that may change the way you think about how the ancient Egyptians viewed life itself. Before we begin, I have a question for you. Do you think the ancient Egyptians were comforting themselves with stories about what comes after death, or do you believe they genuinely felt certain that another world awaited them beyond the grave? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to hear what you think. Now take a slow breath. Let the worries of today grow quiet. Allow the weight of the present moment to gently fade into the distance. The stars above ancient Egypt are beginning to appear. The desert is cooling after another day beneath the relentless sun. A soft breeze moves across the riverbanks of the Nile. Palm trees sway gently in the darkness. The waters of the great river shimmer beneath the moonlight, just as they did thousands of years ago. Somewhere in the distance, a temple stands in silence. Its stone columns cast long shadows across the ground. Priests move quietly through sacred halls illuminated by flickering oil lamps. Farmers sleep in nearby villages. Merchants rest after long journeys. Children dream beneath rooftops made of mud brick and reed. And everywhere, from the poorest laborer to the most powerful pharaoh, people share a common certainty. One day, they too will make the journey into the next world. For the ancient Egyptians, death was never simply an ending. It was a doorway, a passage, the beginning of a voyage unlike any other. While many ancient civilizations left behind stories of heroes, battles, and conquests, the Egyptians left something far more intimate. They left clues about their hopes, their fears, their prayers, their longing to see loved ones again, their desperate desire to believe that life meant more than a few brief years beneath the sun. And perhaps that is why their story still speaks to us today. Because despite the thousands of years that separate us from them, we are not so different. We still wonder about the same mysteries. We still look toward the night sky and ask questions no one can fully answer. We still struggle with loss. We still fear goodbyes. We still hope that the people we love are never truly gone. The ancient Egyptians felt those same emotions. They buried letters to the dead. They placed treasured possessions inside tombs. They whispered prayers over the bodies of family members. They grieved. They remembered. They hoped. And in that hope, they created one of the most extraordinary visions of the afterlife in human history. Tonight, we will walk beside them. We will enter hidden tombs sealed for thousands of years. We will follow sacred texts written to guide souls through darkness. We will witness the careful rituals that transformed the dead into eternal beings. We will travel through the mysterious realm known as the Duat, the Egyptian underworld. We will stand before gods and monsters. We will witness the famous weighing of the heart. And eventually, we will arrive at the field of reeds, the paradise that countless Egyptians dreamed of reaching. Yet throughout this journey, we will separate historical fact from ancient belief. We will explore what archaeologists have uncovered, what historians understand, and what mysteries remain unsolved even today. Because some of the greatest discoveries about ancient Egypt have emerged not from temples or pyramids, but from the quiet hopes people carried within their hearts. So as the Nile flows peacefully beneath the moonlight, as the desert stretches endlessly beneath a sky filled with stars, as the ancient world slowly awakens around us, allow yourself to drift gently into this remarkable story. A story of faith. A story of memory. A story of eternity. And perhaps, a story that reveals something about ourselves. If you're enjoying this peaceful exploration of history, consider subscribing to Serene Echoes. Now, let us begin our journey into the Egyptian afterlife. The first light of dawn spreads across the Nile. Golden rays turn the water into a ribbon of fire. Birds rise from the reeds. Farmers begin their work. Boats glide along the river that has sustained life here for thousands of years. To an outsider, ancient Egypt appears deeply connected to life. Its people raised families, cultivated crops, built cities, and celebrated festivals. Yet beneath every aspect of Egyptian society existed a constant awareness that life was temporary. Not in a fearful way, but as part of an eternal cycle. Just as the sun disappeared each evening and returned every morning, the soul would continue beyond death. To understand the Egyptian afterlife, we must first understand something surprising. The Egyptians did not believe a person was simply a body and a soul. They believed human beings were made of several spiritual elements. One of the most important was the Ka. The Ka was a person's life force. It survived after death and required continued nourishment. This belief helps explain why Egyptian tombs contained food, drink, and offerings. Many tomb walls were covered with scenes of feasts and abundance. To the Egyptians, these images held spiritual power and could provide for the Ka in eternity. Another spiritual element was the Ba. The Ba represented personality and individuality. Artists often portrayed it as a bird with a human head. It could travel between worlds but remained connected to the body, making preservation of the dead especially important. Then there was the Ak, the transformed spirit the deceased hoped to become after successfully entering the next world. To achieve this state was to join the eternal realm of the gods. These beliefs shaped nearly every aspect of Egyptian life. For many people, preparing for death was not an act of pessimism. It was an act of wisdom. And so preparations often began long before death arrived. Wealthy Egyptians commissioned tombs years in advance. Artists filled their walls with scenes of daily life. Families sharing meals. Musicians performing. Farmers harvesting grain. These images were not merely decoration. They were intended to continue in the afterlife. The tomb was both a burial place and an eternal home. Most Egyptians could never afford grand tombs, yet even humble families tried to provide proper burials. They gathered offerings, prepared funerary goods, and hoped their loved ones would be remembered. Because memory carried immense power. Again and again, archaeologists discover a simple request carved into stone. Speak my name. Not a plea for wealth or glory. Only the hope that someone would remember. Across thousands of years, that desire remains familiar. The wish that our lives mattered. That our stories continue after we are gone. The Egyptians understood this deeply. And so they built monuments, created rituals, and preserved names in the hope of extending memory beyond death. As centuries passed, these beliefs became woven into Egyptian civilization. Funeral processions moved through towns and villages. Priests recited sacred words. Families gathered to mourn and remember. The dead were not viewed as lost. There were travelers beginning a journey every person would one day face. That journey would not be easy. Challenges, guardians, and mysteries waited beyond death. And nowhere was preparation more extraordinary than in the preservation of the body itself. A process so sacred and meticulous that many of those individuals still remain with us today. Waiting beneath layers of linen. Preserved against time. Ready to tell their stories. But that story begins behind the walls of ancient embalming workshops, where skilled hands prepared the dead for eternity. The journey continues in a place hidden from most eyes. Away from the markets, temples, and fertile banks of the Nile, skilled embalmers begin their work. The atmosphere is solemn but not fearful. For the ancient Egyptians, mummification was not about death. It was about helping someone continue their journey into eternity. Imagine a grieving family gathering to say goodbye to a loved one. Though saddened by the loss, they do not believe this is the end. Instead, they entrust the body to specialists whose knowledge has been refined over centuries. What followed was one of the most remarkable practices of the ancient world. Archaeologists have learned about mummification through ancient writings, preserved bodies, embalming workshops, and modern scientific analysis. Together, these discoveries reveal a process that combined practical skill with religious devotion. The body was first cleansed with great care and respect. Then came preservation. The dry Egyptian climate helped slow decay, but embalmers developed methods far beyond nature alone. One of their most important tools was natron, a naturally occurring salt mixture used to remove moisture from the body. Without moisture, decay slowed dramatically. The body could survive for centuries. Certain organs were removed and preserved separately, often inside canopic jars. Many of these jars survive today, offering insight into Egyptian beliefs about the afterlife. One organ was usually left untouched. The heart. The Egyptians viewed it as the center of memory, thought, and identity. Later, it would play a crucial role in the judgment of the dead. The preservation process required patience and could take many weeks. There were no shortcuts to eternity. Once completed, the body was wrapped in layers of linen. Skilled embalmers applied the cloth with remarkable precision. Modern examinations show that some mummies were wrapped with extraordinary craftsmanship. Amulets and protective charms were often placed between the layers. These objects were believed to provide guidance, protection, and strength in the next world. To the Egyptians, they were essential tools for the journey ahead. The final result was more than a preserved body. It was a traveler prepared for eternity. Not everyone received the same treatment. The wealthy could afford elaborate mummification, while ordinary people often relied on simpler methods. Yet the goal remained the same: to continue existing, to remain connected to loved ones, to find peace in the next world, and above all, to avoid being forgotten. Perhaps that is why mummies continue to fascinate us. They are not simply archaeological discoveries. They are people. People who lived, worked, loved, worried, and hoped. People who watched the Nile flow past their homes and wondered what awaited them after death. The ancient Egyptians sought immortality through preservation and memory. And in many ways, they succeeded. Thousands of years later, we still speak their names and tell their stories. As the embalmers finish their work, another stage of the journey begins. The traveler is prepared, but the road ahead remains uncertain. To guide the dead through the dangers of the afterlife, the Egyptians created something extraordinary: a collection of sacred spells and instructions. Words designed to help a soul reach eternity. A text we now know as the Book of the Dead. The body has been prepared. The linen wrappings rest quietly beneath the glow of oil lamps. The prayers have been spoken. The tomb is ready. Yet the ancient Egyptians believed the most difficult part of the journey was only beginning. Beyond the tomb lay an unfamiliar realm filled with gates, guardians, challenges, and mysteries. To navigate it, the soul needed something more valuable than wealth or strength. It needed knowledge. In Egyptian belief, words possessed power. Names possessed power. Sacred knowledge could mean the difference between success and failure in the afterlife. Over centuries, priests and scribes developed collections of spells and instructions designed to guide the dead. Today, we know these writings as the Book of the Dead. The ancient Egyptians called them the Book of Coming Forth by Day. Even the name reflects hope. It was not simply about death. It was about transformation and continued existence. These traditions evolved over thousands of years. Early funerary texts appeared inside royal pyramids. Later, sacred writings were placed on coffins. Eventually, collections of spells were written on papyrus scrolls and buried with the deceased. No two copies were exactly alike. Families often selected different passages based on their needs and resources. Each scroll served as a personalized guide for the journey ahead. Imagine a scribe carefully copying these sacred words onto fresh papyrus. Every symbol mattered. Every line carried meaning. These texts were not entertainment. They were tools intended to help a soul reach eternity. Many surviving examples are beautifully illustrated. Gods, sacred boats, mysterious gateways, and scenes of judgment fill their pages. Even after thousands of years, their colors remain striking. One of the most fascinating aspects of these texts is their practicality. Many spells were designed to solve specific problems. Some offered protection. Others helped the deceased pass safely through gates or avoid dangers. Certain passages even provided exact words to speak when encountering supernatural beings. Knowledge was the key to survival. The afterlife was imagined as a place where the correct names, phrases, and rituals opened the way forward. Of course, historians can study these texts, but they cannot know exactly how every Egyptian understood them. What we see is a world shaped by faith, tradition, and the hope that no one had to face the unknown alone. And perhaps that hope feels familiar. Across thousands of years, people have asked the same questions. What happens after death? Is there a path beyond the darkness? Can we prepare for what comes next? The Egyptians answered those questions with prayers, rituals, and sacred guidance. Not because they knew every answer, but because they believed answers existed. As generations passed, countless Egyptians carried these texts into their tombs. Kings and queens, officials and artisans, ordinary men and women, all hoping the words would guide them safely. And now, at last, the journey begins. The tomb doors close. The world of the living fades away. The Nile disappears into the distance. Ahead lies a realm unlike anything on earth. A place of shadows and starlight. A place of sacred rivers and hidden gates. A place the Egyptians called the Duat. And it is there that our journey now leads. The tomb has fallen silent. The final prayers have been spoken. The offerings rest where loving hands placed them. The stone entrance has been sealed. And now, according to ancient Egyptian belief, the soul begins its greatest journey. Not through Egypt. Not along the Nile. But through a mysterious realm known as the Duat. Ancient texts describe the Duat as a landscape of sacred waterways, hidden paths, towering gates, and celestial light. It was not a place of rest. It was a place of transformation. The traveler would face challenges, pass through guarded gateways, and prove their readiness for what lay ahead. Again and again, funerary texts describe journeys by boat across sacred waters. The Nile had shaped Egyptian life, and its image carried naturally into the afterlife. As the soul moved deeper into the Duat, familiar rules no longer applied. Distances shifted. Time seemed uncertain. Some regions appeared peaceful and beautiful. Others were filled with dangers. Massive gates blocked the way forward, guarded by powerful beings whose names had to be known. Knowledge mattered. Preparation mattered. The afterlife was not automatic. It had to be earned. Tomb paintings reveal a world of sacred islands, dark caverns, blazing regions of fire, and star-filled waterways stretching into eternity. Yet amid the dangers were places of beauty and renewal. The Duat was not merely a realm of fear. It was a realm of possibility. At the heart of this journey stood the sun god Ra. Each evening, Egyptians watched the sun disappear beyond the horizon and believed Ra entered the Duat aboard a sacred solar boat. Throughout the night, he traveled through the underworld before emerging again at dawn. His daily rebirth became one of the most powerful symbols in Egyptian religion. If the sun could return from darkness each morning, perhaps human beings could be reborn as well. But the journey was not without danger. Ancient texts tell of Apep, the great serpent of chaos, who sought to stop Ra's voyage through the underworld. Night after night, order battled disorder. Night after night, the sun returned. For Egyptians, every sunrise was proof that darkness could be overcome. Every dawn was a promise that life continued beyond endings. As the soul journeys through the Duat, one truth becomes increasingly clear. This path is not only about reaching a destination. It is about proving oneself worthy of it. Every challenge reveals character. Every obstacle tests preparation. And every step leads toward a final encounter. An encounter where no spell can hide the truth. Where a lifetime of choices will be examined. Where the heart itself will speak. As the sacred boat glides across the waters of the Duat and distant stars shimmer overhead, a great hall begins to emerge in the darkness. Its columns rise toward the heavens. Its guardians stand motionless. The moment of judgment is near. Soon, the traveler will stand before the gods. Soon, a single feather will carry unimaginable weight. Soon, the fate of the soul will be decided. And within the Hall of Ma'at, one of the most famous scenes in all Egyptian belief awaits. The weighing of the heart. The journey through the Duat has been long. The sacred waters lie behind us. The gates have been crossed. The darkness has given way to something far more important. Ahead stands the Hall of Ma'at, the place of judgment, the place where truth is revealed. According to ancient Egyptian belief, every soul would eventually stand here, not to be judged by wealth, not by status, not by power, but by the condition of the heart. At the center of the hall stands a scale. On one side rests the heart of the deceased. On the other rests the feather of Ma'at. Ma'at was more than a goddess. She represented truth, justice, balance, and order. The Egyptians believed these principles held the universe together. Without them, chaos would prevail. The scene is solemn. Anubis, guardian of the dead, oversees the weighing. Often shown with the head of a jackal, he guides souls through this sacred moment. The heart is placed upon the scale. Everything depends upon the result. To the Egyptians, the heart was the center of memory, thought, and identity. It carried every choice a person had made. Every kindness. Every cruelty. Every truth. Every deception. Nothing could be hidden. The weighing was not merely a test. It was a revelation. Many funerary texts include declarations known today as the negative confessions. The deceased proclaims, "I have not stolen. I have not lied. I have not harmed others." These statements reveal an important truth about Egyptian belief. A good life was measured not only through rituals, but through everyday behavior. Honesty, fairness, respect for others, living in harmony with Ma'at. Beside the scales waits a fearsome figure known as Ammit. Part crocodile, part lion, part hippopotamus. If the heart proved heavier than the feather, Ammit would devour it. For Egyptians, this was the ultimate loss. Not punishment, not suffering, but the end of existence itself. Yet the system was not built around despair. It was built around hope. The belief that a person who lived truthfully could succeed. If the scales balanced, the soul was declared worthy. The journey could continue. Nearby stood Thoth, divine scribe and keeper of wisdom. His task was to record the judgment. And presiding over it all sat Osiris, lord of the afterlife. The ruler who had conquered death and become a symbol of renewal. This scene remains one of the most powerful images in Egyptian religion. A heart, a feather, a scale, and the belief that character matters more than power. As the judgment ends, the hall begins to fade behind us. The shadows soften. The air grows lighter. The trials of the Duat are ending. Ahead lies the destination generations of Egyptians hope to reach. A place of peace. A place of abundance. A place where life continues beyond death. The field of reeds. The paradise of ancient Egypt. And it is there that our journey now leads. The scales have fallen silent. The judgment is complete. The heart has balanced against the feather of Ma'at. The journey through the Duat is over. Ahead, a new horizon appears. Soft and golden. Like dawn spreading across the Nile after a long night. The traveler steps forward and beholds the field of reeds. The paradise of ancient Egypt. The destination generations hope to reach. What makes this vision remarkable is its familiarity. The Egyptians did not imagine paradise as a strange or distant world. They imagined the perfect version of home. A land where the Nile never failed. Where harvests never withered. Where hunger, sickness, and loss no longer existed. Fields stretched endlessly beneath warm sunlight. Canals carried clear water through fertile land. Fruit trees overflowed with abundance. Everything that made life possible in Egypt existed here in its ideal form. For people who lived with uncertainty, this promise offered comfort. Not merely survival after death, but fulfillment, peace, security. Ancient tomb paintings provide some of our clearest glimpses of this paradise. They show the deceased sailing calm waters, tending fertile fields, and enjoying abundance among loved ones. Again and again, one theme appears. Family. Spouses reunited. Parents and children together. Friends gathered once more. The Egyptians believed death could separate people for a time, but not forever. Their paradise offered the hope of reunion. A chance to see familiar faces again. To continue relationships interrupted by mortality. Imagine walking through the field of reeds. The air is warm. The waters sparkle beneath the sun. No famine exists here. No war. No disease. No fear. Everything fragile has become secure. Everything temporary has become lasting. Yet the Egyptians did not imagine eternity as endless idleness. Many tomb scenes show planting, harvesting, and caring for the land. The ideal afterlife was not about escaping life entirely. It was about preserving its best qualities. To assist with these tasks, many Egyptians were buried with small figures known as shaptas. According to belief, these figures could perform labor on behalf of the deceased whenever needed. Thousands have been discovered in tombs across Egypt. Silent reminders of hopes carried into eternity. Whether king or farmer, wealthy or poor, most Egyptians shared the same dream. A peaceful existence, meaningful work, abundance, and the company of loved ones. What survives today are not proofs of paradise, but evidence of what people hoped for. And those hopes feel surprisingly familiar. Peace, purpose, connection, belonging. The more we study ancient Egypt, the more human its people become. Beneath the monuments and myths were people asking the same questions we still ask today. What happens after death? What truly matters? Can love endure beyond a lifetime? As the golden fields stretch toward the horizon and the waters shimmer beneath an eternal sky, our journey begins to draw to a close. Yet one question remains. Why did these beliefs endure for more than 3,000 years? Why do they continue to fascinate us today? And what can the ancient Egyptians still teach us about life, memory, and meaning? As the sun settles softly over the field of reeds, we arrive at the final chapter of our journey. A chapter not only about ancient Egypt, but about ourselves. The sun hangs low above the horizon. Its golden light spreads across the field of reeds. The waters shimmer quietly. The reeds sway in the warm breeze. Our journey has brought us here. From the cities of the Nile, to the embalming workshops, to the sacred words of the Book of the Dead, through the Duat and the Hall of Judgment, and finally to the paradise generations of Egyptians hoped would await them. For a moment, everything feels peaceful, timeless, still. And perhaps this is the perfect place to reflect on what we have learned. Thousands of years have passed since the first pyramids rose above the desert. Empires have risen and fallen. Languages have changed. Entire civilizations have faded into history. Yet human beings continue to ask the same questions. What happens when life ends? What makes a good life? How should we be remembered? The ancient Egyptians did not possess all the answers. Neither do we. But their search for meaning left behind one of the most remarkable legacies in human history. One of the greatest lessons Egypt offers is that history is not only the story of kings and monuments. It is the story of people. People who loved. People who feared loss. People who hoped for the future. People who searched for meaning just as we do. Behind every tomb stood a family. Behind every prayer stood a hope. Behind every monument stood a human life. Perhaps that is why Egyptian beliefs continue to resonate. Because beneath the gods, rituals, and symbols lies something deeply familiar. The desire to matter. The desire to be remembered. The desire to believe that life carries meaning beyond its hardships. The Egyptians devoted enormous effort to preserving memory. Names were carved into stone. Prayers were written on tomb walls. Offerings were left for future generations to remember. In many ways, memory became a form of immortality. And perhaps there is wisdom in that idea. Most of us will never build pyramids. Most of us will never leave monuments that survive for thousands of years. Yet every life leaves traces behind. Acts of kindness. Words of encouragement. Moments of love. These things often endure longer than we realize. As we sit beside the eternal waters of the field of reeds, another realization emerges. The Egyptian afterlife was never only about death. It was also about life. The weighing of the heart encouraged honesty. Ma'at encouraged balance. The hope of reunion encouraged love. The desire for remembrance encouraged meaningful action. In many ways, Egyptian belief asked a simple question. If your heart were weighed today, what would it reveal? Not what you owned. Not what titles you carried. But who you truly were. It is a question that remains powerful even now, thousands of years later. And so, as our journey comes to an end, the ancient Egyptians leave us with something more valuable than treasure. A reminder that kindness matters, that truth matters, that memory matters, that every generation searches for meaning in its own way. The people who built tombs beside the Nile are gone. The priests are gone. The kings are gone. Yet their voices still reach us across the centuries. And tonight, as the stars begin to appear above the waters of eternity, those voices grow softer. The field of reeds fades into the distance. The Nile flows beneath the moonlight. The ancient world drifts gently back into silence. Thank you for spending part of your evening with serene echoes. Until next time, rest well and let history whisper you to sleep.